Hello, guys, and welcome to the match preview of World Cup Final 2022. It's almighty Argentina against the defending champions France. The stakes could not get any bigger than this. So, let's get on with it. The kickoff of this sparkling World Cup final will commence on this afternoon at the Lusail Stadium on 6 p.m. local time. We are literally just hours away from one of the biggest matches in football history. Les Blues will step out on the turf of Lusail as the first title holders in 24 years to participate in the final, which they booked their tickets for after beating the Atlas Lions, Morocco 2-0, courtesy the goals of Theo Hernandez and Kolo Muani in the semi-finals. Meanwhile, the Albicelestes will come into the final as the favorite to lift the golden trophy, for which they have beaten the Croatia 3-0 in the semi-finals, courtesy of Lionel Messi and Julian Alvarez. Now, if we talk about the head-to-head meetings between the both teams in World Cups, the Sunday's final will mark the fourth meeting between them. The first meeting between both the teams was way back in the first World Cup edition in 1930, where Argentina triumphed over the France after beating them 1-0. In second meeting at 1978, Argentina eliminated France from the group stage after beating them 2-1 and will go on to lift the World Cup trophy. Meanwhile, the most recent meeting between the both of the teams was at the last World Cup in Russia, where the Le Blues have ruined the party for the Albicelestes after beating them 4-3 in round of 16, which arguably was one of the best match of the year. La Albiceleste will sure be looking for a revenge, and what better occasion than a World Cup final. If we talk about the squad news for both of the teams, then there is good news for both set of fans. For Argentina supporters, Marcos Acuna and Gonzalo Montiel will return to the side after missing the semis because of suspensions. Also, Angel Di Maria will be at Scaloni's disposal after receiving the medical green light. The only doubt for Argentina will be Papu Gomez, who is not yet fully recovered from the ankle sprain and might make to the bench only at the best. Over in the France camp, Dayot Upamecano, Adrien Rabiot, and Kingsley Coman will return to the squad after missing the semi-final against Morocco because of catching camel flu from constant air conditioning. Rafael Varane and Ibrahima Konate were also reportedly caught the flu after the semi-finals, but are most likely to be medical clear to play the final. There is a surprise inclusion of the Karim Benzema in the squad after he got out of the tournament even before it started because of an injury, but is most likely to not be a starter, barring a huge surprise. Now, talking about the possible lineups, we are going to start from the challengers, Argentina. Talking about the formation, it's most likely going to be a choice between the 3-5-2 and 4-3-3, according to the selection of Di Maria in the starting lineup. But most likely, Scaloni will go ahead with the 3-5-2, as 4-3-3 will be very risky for Argentina, as Mbappe and Dembele will run the riots on the wide flanks of the pitch, which will completely nullify the attacking threats of Argentina's fullbacks. Talking about the starting lineup, Emiliano Martinez is the undisputed starter for the Argentina in the goal and will start the final as the goalkeeper for the Albiceleste. The back three of Lisandro Martinez, Nicolas Otamendi and Christian Romero is most likely to start at the game as they will have the huge task of stopping the fierce attacking threats of France. Marcos Acuna will slot right back into the team in place of Nicolas Tagliafico after completing the suspension as left wing back, and Nahuel Molina will partner him on the other side of the pitch as the right wing back. The midfield trio of Argentina will most likely to be of Alexis McAllister, Enzo Fernandez and Rodrigo De Paul. McAllister provides that attacking threat from midfield. Meanwhile, De Paul and Fernandez will like to control the game from midfield by any means necessary. And in the attack, there should be no contest for the places of Julian Alvarez and Lionel Messi. Both of the players are playing at the highest level and are the contenders for the Golden Boot of the World Cup. Now, if we talk about France, Didier Deschamps will most likely field his squad in the formation of 4-3-3 to control the game on their terms. In goal, Hugo Lloris, the captain of the Blues, will start without any doubt. For centre-back pairing, Dayot Upamecano, after recovering from the illness, is expected to slot right back into the place of Ibrahima Konate to partner with the man in form, Rafael Varane. In left back, Theo Hernandez is expected to start even after taking a couple of blows to the knees in the match against Morocco, and Jules Koundé will start at right back. Talking about the midfield, the pivot of Aurelien Tchouameni and Adrien Rabiot is most likely to start, after the latter is expected to slot straight back in for Youssouf Fofana. The most important player of the France squad, Antoine Griezmann, is expected to start in his new position as a midfielder for the Le Blues. In wide flanks, Kylian Mbappe and Ousmane Dembélé are expected to start as the wingers for the French national team. As a striker, it's hard to look past the evergreen Olivier Giroud, even after the inclusion of this year's Ballon d'Or winner Karim Benzema in the squad. That just tells about the stature of Giroud, which he has gained in this World Cup after being the complete flop in the last World Cup. Now, let's start with the tactical part of the game. It's really simple. Tactically, the ball is in Scaloni's court. France have maintained the same shape throughout this competition, 4-3-3, with a very similar set of players, barring any injury and the exception of final group game against Tunisia. On the other hand, Scaloni continues to mix and match. He started the competition with a 4-4-2 or 4-4-1-1, depending on how you interpret Messi's role. He then switched to a 4-3-3 for the clash with Poland, using Messi centrally and Alvarez from the left, before using a 5-3-2 against Netherlands in the quarterfinals. For the semi-final, it was back to more of a 4-4-2 with a very narrow midfield designed to negate Croatia's strength in the center. France offer a different challenge. Scaloni will be mostly concerned with the stopping the Mbappe-Hernandez flank and may have the option of a fit again Angel Di Maria. Yes, the match winner in last year's Copa America final, but is most likely to not use him, at least in the start. Scaloni might decide he doesn't need two holding midfielders and therefore can jettison Leandro Paredes. That could mean he ends up going to back to something like the 3-5-2. Rodrigo De Paul and Alexis McAllister could play either side of Enzo Fernandez. Then Alvarez higher up on the left flank. Safe in the knowledge Jules Koundé barely pushes forward from right back. The eyes of the whole world will be on Kylian Mbappe, but he is not the most important piece in France's puzzle. Instead, that is Antoine Griezmann. You can tell Mbappe is the star man because whereas Griezmann has been forced to drop into a deeper role, carrying and chasing as much as creating and scoring, Mbappe is allowed almost complete freedom from defensive duties, sometimes with centre forward Olivier Giroud dropping into midfield. Mbappe has having completed zero point 0.2 defense actions per game, the least of any outfielder in the entire tournament. He saves his energy for attacking burst, which means France's left back Theo Hernandez, himself a fine attacking player but a weak defender, has often been exposed. Both England and Morocco focused on the attacking the spice behind Mbappe. In the semi-final, 53% of Morocco's attacking touches were in the right third of the pitch, which is Mbappe's side, which is highest share of any game in the tournament. Messi also receives near freedom from defending and has spent much of this tournament simply walking around rather than running, to a greater extent than any other player and far more than any other central attacker. Others happily pick up the slack against Croatia that was obvious from the role played by Julian Alvarez. In position, Alvarez was Argentina's number 9, sprinting in behind to win the penalty for the first goal, bundling his way through for the second, and turning home Messi's cutback for the third. Without possession, Alvarez became Argentina's number 10, dropping into the midfield to mark the opposition holding player. Messi dawdles back somewhere to the right and justifies this freedom by doing precisely what he did for the third goal, leaving Josko Guardiola for dead. The intrigue, of course, comes from the fact that this is all interconnected and this action will, at least on paper, take place largely down that side. If Mbappe continues to remain high up, the France risk Hernandez being isolated again, and Messi will happily wander over into the any spaces down that side. On to key battles of the match now, starting with the Atletico Madrid teammates Rodrigo De Paul and Antoine Griezmann. De Paul has been fundamental in Argentina's midfield. He is the heart of the midfield along with his teammates. He, alongside Messi, has been causing havoc for the opposition defense. His handling of the midfield is enabling Messi to indulge himself more in the attack. He is instrumental with his passing and winning the ball. He is up against his Atletico Madrid teammate Antoine Griezmann. The French international is having a great tournament. He is joint top assist provider of the tournament alongside Messi so far. Griezmann has been guiding the French attacks with his beautiful passing and assisting. He is playing the role of a perfect playmaker as well as a perfect midfielder running the game. The two teammates will be up against each other in the final, and it will be decided there only that who prevails over the other. Next battle, Nahuel Molina versus Kylian Mbappe. Molina's amazing performance has put him on the radars of some of the big clubs in Europe. He has been good in the defense and also scored the opening goal against Netherlands in the quarters. Molina has been supporting the Argentina in the right back position. He will be tested to his limit in the finals when he'll be up against the one and only Kylian Mbappe. Kylian Mbappe has been the biggest fear of teams facing France in this tournament. The question repeated to each team before their clash against France is how they are going to stop the Parisian superstar. He is agile and has great passing and shooting skills. Like in every match before this, the basic fear and question for the national squad will be that how they are going to stop Kylian Mbappe. And on to the next battle, and the most interesting one, Lionel Messi versus Rafael Varane. The Argentine captain is in phenomenal form in this World Cup so far. He has been instrumental in leading his team to the final. He is the top scorer of his team in this World Cup and also the top scorer of the World Cup so far. Along with goals, Messi has also provided 3 assists in the tournament so far. He is leading the team from the front. In the French, the players up against Lionel Messi is his former La Liga counterpart, Rafael Varane. Varane, with his speed and defensive abilities, is a lethal asset of the French national squad. France has impressed fans with his performance in the tournament so far. He is one of the major pillars of the France defense. It will be interesting to see two former opponents from Spain to lock horns against each other again in the World Cup final. And this is it for the video, guys. Is it Argentina who are going to lift the trophy and fulfill the dreams of millions? Or France will become the party spoilers and lift the trophy in back-to-back tournaments by becoming the first team to do so in 60 years? Fairy tale endings are never a guarantee in football, but viewers around the world can only expect to witness Messi with both hands on the 18-carat gold trophy.